Hello, folks. I'm back again with a firearms review of my AK-47. I bought this a while back in the early 1990s, when at that time with the Clinton administration, they were trying to ban these type of firearms, similar to what we're going through in 2015 and 2016, where they're trying to ban certain firearms such as the AR-15. When I bought this, believe it or not, I paid only about $500 for this. This was a very reasonable price at this time. And what was interesting is that I guess when there was the fall of the wall and everything else was going on, importers from the U.S. Wanted to get a collection of these firearms and sell them to the general public. This AK-47 is not a custom build or anything of that nature. This actually came from the manufacturer like this. It has uh, the strap rail here, and you have your connection for the other side of the rail on this side, which would be roughly, lost track of it, but it's on one of the sides here. This is embarrassing. Can't find oh, here it is. It's very hard to see on this angle, but this is where the strap connection is, right here, and the other strap connection, as you see, right here. At the time, during that time with the gun laws and so forth, we were only allowed to have 5-round magazines. So don't worry, the firearm is unloaded. So we had these 5-round magazines that you could only purchase when you bought the gun. You were only allowed to have only 5-round magazines. Okay, I had to pause for a minute to get this out because I'm using my phone again as usual, my Samsung Note 5, and like I was saying about the magazines here, you were only allowed a 5-round magazine because there was a magazine restriction at the time. So if you were at a gun show, you could buy these. These are 30-round magazines. The company that sells this particular firearm, I don't think you're going to be able to see it, but the company at the time that was importing these, it was called Interordnance. Interordnance at the time was out of Monroe, North Carolina. I do believe they have another import area in Florida. Don't quote me on that, but Interordnance at the time was out of Monroe, North Carolina in the early 90s, and they were importing these. This particular firearm is a Romanian AK-47. It's a Romanian AK-47. The manufacturing company is called wow, these pronunciations. It's Romtehica Cugir. Romtehica Cugir. Now, I've heard of the Cugir name before when it comes to Romanian AK-47s. So from my understanding, it's a well-respected company, and they pump these out like nobody's business. So it evolved from Romtehica Cugir or something of that nature. If you ever see, if I can get this to focus, if you ever see Cugir right here, it's usually made from Romania, and it's made from a well-known company over there. And as you see here, this was imported, like I said, from the company called Interordnance. What I can just tell you about this is I did add a couple things to it because I wanted to put a scope on here. As you see, this is an Osprey Scope. It's a magnifier, and it's a scope that has a type of fiber optic in the front with a target outline in the back here. This is basically used for close quarters, and this is basically for your targeting for long range distances, anywhere from 100 yards to 600 yards. I did a brief overview on this on another uh, review I did. I have not used this as of yet, but I'm planning to. But I just wanted to show this firearm with that particular scope on here. Now, I wanted to show you the scope mount as well. The scope mount that I'm using for this is a UTG Pro, and the model number is MTU016. This is a very good scope mount if you want to use this for AK-47s. Now, there are two versions of this particular mount. There's one that you have to screw it in, and there's the other, which what I have here. All you have to do is you pull this lever up here, and just bear with me a moment. You have the lever right there, and what you can do is to get the scope off. It makes the scope all one piece, or the mount off. You just slide it backwards like this, and it all comes off as one piece. So it makes it for easy installation, makes it easy to put on, and it's a very quick interchange if you want to use that. Most AK-47s, traditional AK-47s, have this type of cutout for attachments or whatnot, which the old Soviet, I saw the old Soviet scope mounts. Their mounts were very huge, and their mounts were some of their mounts are even bigger than this. But this is what I pretty much like about this. You can just take that off in a cinch. And with this particular mount, you do have a Picatinny rails, so you can add other things on here. You have one additional one on the side. Let's say if you want to add like a light or some type of laser, whatever you want to do, you can add that on, and it slides back easily. But before I put this back on, I just wanted to mention that I haven't fired this since, let's say, probably 1998. I haven't fired this, and I keep it well maintained. But before I had any type of scope, I used basically the iron sights on here, and I had it at this point. It was set for 50 to 100 yards, and this firearm was extremely accurate for me, who didn't really have much experience with rifles at the time. For just to use the iron sights, actually I hit extremely good groups. We're talking groups anywhere from like 3 to 5 just for that time period. Today, I haven't fired like rifles in a long time. I'm just getting back into rifles. I pretty much had this sitting in the closet, sealed up, and now it's time for me to bring it out again and start getting back into rifle shooting, because mainly I'm a handgunner. And basically, I've got back into rifles when I bought my M&P 15. So it's time for me to bring this back out, get used to firing different types of rifles. Like I said earlier, this is very easy to attach back on. All you have to do is line it back up like it's supposed to be. You have to line that back up properly. And all you have to do afterwards is just swing this lever over and it will tighten. Now, you have to adjust this in the beginning to make sure it does tighten and it does stay fit, so there's no actual movement when you have that there. But the other version of this, definitely when you use the other version, you have to use a screwdriver, and it's not as fast, and it takes time to, put that mount on. But you want something really quick, and take this off in seconds, and maybe use iron sights, or maybe even pop another type of piece of equipment on there. This is the way to go. Or just use this, take this off, and then put a different scope on here, or like I said, a light or a laser at this point. Basically, I'm waiting to get to the range again because I really want to test out this scope. This is a scope by a company called Osprey. I did mention it briefly on another video I have, and I just can't wait to really see how this scope works in conjunction with the AK-47 because I have a Strike Eagle, Vortex Strike Eagle, and I'm pretty much going to leave that on my MMP 15 because I wanted to stay on that one. This one is pretty much going to be like a knockaround scope. It's going to be like you see here. There's the close quarters adjustments here, so you can use the fiber optic in conjunction with with the with the rear sight. Also, this is a magnifying scope, so I believe this is a one by. It goes up to magnification of 4, if I'm correct on that. Uh, that's what I believe it is. Let me pull out the box here. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a 4 by 32. It's a 4 by 32 with a fiber optic. So it's a 4 by 32 scope, and this should do the job for long distance as well as short distance. Don't have too much else to say about this firearm, except a lot of people know the history about the AK-47, and there is amazing history that the designer Kalishnikov actually never made a dime off this design from the Russian government. He never made any money from the Russian government. I guess they consider that part of their military service or duty to their country to design something. So he's never made really a profit off of this design. But however, he made other designs where he was able to make profits off of in the future time period. But this is a very well respected, well tested firearm. It's been in various battles over the years, and it's like one of the #1 selling firearms in the world. There's not one part, I guess, in the world that you cannot find an AK-47. And I like both the AK-47 and the AR-15 or M16 platforms. I'm not partial to neither one. Yes, you could be patriotic and like the AR-15, but the AK-47 also has some history with it, and I feel this is why a lot of Americans have pretty much imported these, and they wanted to see what the other party is talking about and how effective it was. So I really like this platform. Uh, I'm not sure if I mentioned about this design of the stock. Like I said, this stock is not like custom or anything. You notice the gloss and the sheen, and that's what drew my attention to it. Uh, this was just, at the time, it was made to look like I guess you could say custom. It has like a pistol grip type of handle here. This is different from the regular stock handles. I noticed that a lot of U.S. companies are now making synthetic stocks. I don't know how you feel about synthetic stocks or synthetic parts for an AK-47. Maybe I'm old school, but I prefer the wood stocks. But maybe with the advancements of technology, maybe it's a better fit for American use. I don't know. But I'm kind of old school. I do like the way the finish is around here, and you can tell definitely this is of quality materials and forging and piston design. It is one of the elite firearms that are made as a battle rifle in the modern era. So if you have any comments or anything, any questions, or if you want to tell me something that you know about this that I did not mention. Feel free to do so, and happy shooting.